A massive piece of news has shaken the tennis world after it was officially confirmed that Alexandra Eala is included in the main draw of the BNP Paribas Open scheduled from March 4 to 15, 2026 in Indian Wells. Yes, you read that right. Alex goes straight into the main draw and will compete alongside the biggest names in women's tennis. This tournament, also known as Indian Wells, is one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 events in the world. And in the 2026 edition, the lineup is literally star-studded. Confirmed entries include world superstars like Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina. Also present are Jasmine Paolini and Jessica Pegula, consistent top 10 contenders. In short, all of California is truly about to be stunned. For Eala, being included in the main draw is not just simple participation. It is a statement. From being a rising junior champion, she is now a regular competitor at elite-level tournaments against established champions and Grand Slam winners. She is no longer a wild card, she's part of the main battlefield. The entry list is filled with established elites and rising stars. You'll see names like Naomi Osaka, Emma Raducanu, Alina Svitolina, Marketa Vondrousova, and Jing Qinwen. That means every round already feels like finals-level intensity. Strategically, this is a huge opportunity for Alex. The Indian Wells hard courts are a medium-paced surface that provide balance between baseline rallies and aggressive shot-making. It suits her lefty angles and improved court positioning. If she gets a favorable draw, a deep run is possible. And if that happens, her global ranking and visibility will rise even further. It is also important to remember that the player list is subject to change until the official draw. But as of now, she is confirmed as playing. That means she is part of the current main entries. With so many global icons participating, Alexandra Eala's presence symbolizes the rise of Philippine tennis on the world stage. She is no longer just a promising talent. She is now a legitimate contender who will face the strongest players in the world. California, get ready. A Filipina is ready to shock. It is a massive milestone for Philippine tennis as Alexandra Eala joins the main draw of the BNP Paribas Open 2026. Indian Wells, held in California, is one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 tournaments in the world. This is not just an ordinary event. It is often called the fifth Grand Slam because of its level of competition and prestige. The most intense part is that she will compete alongside the biggest superstars in women's tennis. Confirmed on the entry list are dominant names like Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina. These are Grand Slam champions and consistent top 10 players. That means every match feels like a tournament final. For Alex, entering the main draw is not just a simple participation slot. It proves that her ranking and performance are strong enough to compete in the elite tier of the WTA. She is no longer relying on wild cards or qualifiers. She is directly part of the main lineup. That alone sends a strong message. She belongs here. From an English perspective, we can say this is a different level. If before Eala was still in the developmental stage, now she is under the global spotlight. The Indian Wells hard courts are known as a balanced surface. Not too fast, not too slow, giving all-around players a chance to build points. And this is where the evolution of Eala's game comes in. Improved serve percentage, more aggressive baseline positioning, and more composed decision-making in crucial points. The depth of the field is no joke. Aside from the mentioned superstars, the main draw also includes established contenders and former champions like Naomi Osaka, Emma Raducanu, and Alina Svitolina. That means even in the first round, it could already be a blockbuster matchup. Strategically, this tournament is extremely important for ranking points and confidence build-up. A deep run in a WTA 1000 event has a major impact on seeding in upcoming Grand Slams. For Eala, this is an opportunity not just to compete but to establish a stronger presence on tour. Overall, Alexandra Eala's inclusion in the main draw of Indian Wells 2026 symbolizes the rise of a Filipina athlete on the global stage. This is no longer just an underdog story. She is now a legitimate contender. And as the entire tennis world looks toward California, Alex is ready to prove she can compete with the very best. Now that it is official that Alexandra Eala is in the main draw of the BNP Paribas Open, the next big question is simple but heavy. How far can she go? Indian Wells is known for the extreme depth of competition. It's not just about the top 4 favorites. Almost every section of the draw has world-class threats. There are Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka, both dominant in baseline power and consistency. Coco Gauff brings elite athleticism and home crowd advantage on US soil. Meanwhile, Elena Rybakina is one of the most dangerous players when it comes to serve plus first strike tennis. But this is where Eala's exciting factor comes in: unpredictability. As a lefty with natural cross-court angles, she can disrupt the rhythm of right-hand power hitters. On the hard courts of Indian Wells, patience in rallies and smart shot selection are crucial. It cannot be all about power. Tactical discipline is required. And in recent months, Alex's improvement in controlling match tempo has been clear. Her first serve is more consistent. She takes the ball earlier on the baseline and is more composed in tight moments. When discussing potential paths, the draw will be a huge factor. If she can avoid the top 5 seeds in the early rounds, she has a realistic chance of reaching the third round or even the round of 16. And in a WTA 1000 event, that kind of result is a massive boost in ranking and confidence. It is also important to remember that Indian Wells is a tournament of momentum. If you get an upset win in the early rounds, you can quickly become a crowd favorite. And we know the US audience loves underdog stories. If Alex's game clicks, she could gain the support of neutral fans. The psychological aspect should not be underestimated either. Sharing the same draw with names like Naomi Osaka, Emma Raducanu, and Jessica Pegula is a huge learning opportunity. Even one win against a seeded player could become the turning point of her season. In the bigger picture, Eala's presence in such a stacked tournament proves she is no longer an outsider on tour. She is now a regular competitor at the elite level. And while all of California focuses on the reigning champions, there is one Filipina quietly but determinedly ready to shock. She may not be the top favorite, but in tennis, one inspired week is all it takes to change the narrative. And perhaps this Indian Wells 2026 will be the start of a bigger global breakthrough for Alexandra Eala. Overall, Alexandra Eala's inclusion in the main draw of the BNP Paribas Open is clear proof that she has reached the elite level of women's tennis. She is no longer just a rising prospect. She is now a legitimate contender ready to compete against Iga Swiatek and Aryna Sabalenka. Whatever the result may be, her presence in such a major tournament symbolizes a new era for Philippine tennis. The whole world is watching, and Alex is ready to prove she can shock the biggest stage.
I think it was Eala is the match that I was looking at, and there was people like wrapped around the stadium just trying to get in, which is pretty crazy. And I mean, it's cool to see and it's exciting, but obviously, you know, for fan experience, I don't know because I'm not living that same experience. But hopefully, the event kind of continues to grow.
Jessica Pegula, one of the biggest names in women's tennis right now, has come out swinging. Not on the court this time, but off it. And she is not holding back. She is calling out the WTA directly, and she is doing it in defense of one of the most exciting young talents we have seen emerge in years. At the Australian Open, something remarkable happened. Fans traveled from across the globe, from the Philippines, from different parts of Asia, from every corner of the world where Alex Eala has captured hearts, just to watch her play. These are not casual fans who stumbled upon a match. These are devoted, passionate supporters who booked flights, arranged accommodations, and made real sacrifices just to be in the same arena as their hero. That kind of dedication is extraordinary. That kind of fan base is something most players spend an entire career trying to build. When those fans arrived, when they showed up ready to cheer and celebrate and witness history, the WTA had not managed to place her on the biggest court available. Think about that for a moment. You have arguably the biggest crowd draw at the tournament, and you are scheduling her matches on a court that cannot even accommodate the people who came specifically to watch her.
The fans that we're getting and making that still an enjoyable experience for them. But I did see some of the courts have like lines getting in and it seems really busy, and I saw some reports that it's some of their busiest.
Pegula did not mince words. She called it disrespect. Disrespect toward Alex Eala and disrespect toward the fans. And she is absolutely right, because when you think about what those fans went through, it becomes even more outrageous. People standing in long queues, waiting and hoping just for a chance to get inside and see their Filipino star compete. And many of them could not even get in. The courts were too small. The capacity was not there. Fans who had traveled thousands of miles ended up watching from outside the stadium, straining to catch a glimpse, or worse, missing the match entirely because they simply could not get through the doors. That is not just a logistical failure. That is a statement. Whether it was intentional or not, the message sent to Alex Eala and her fans was loud and clear. We do not think you belong on the big stage yet. And that message is not just wrong, it is insulting. Jessica Pegula went even further. She revealed that she had been told this was the best crowd ever seen at an Australian Open, and that this extraordinary turnout was driven in large part by Alex Eala. The best crowd in the history of the tournament, and the player responsible for that energy was not given the court to match it. Pegula directly questioned why Eala was not being given matches on bigger courts, with more space, more capacity, a stage worthy of the moment. And it is a question the WTA has not answered adequately. Pegula also hinted at something deeper. She suggested that the WTA might not like what they are seeing from Alex Eala. Think about what that means. Here is a young woman who has built a fan base that stretches across all of Asia, who is bringing new audiences to the sport, who is generating excitement and passion and viewership in markets that tennis has been trying to crack for years. That should be celebrated. That should be amplified. Instead, based on how she has been treated, it seems like it is being ignored or even suppressed. And Pegula was not alone in speaking up. Novak Djokovic, arguably the greatest tennis player of all time, and a man who has seen everything there is to see in this sport, also broke his silence on the situation. Djokovic called Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. He said she deserves all the respect in the world. And he agreed that the WTA's management of her scheduling and court assignments played a significant role in contributing to the difficulties she faced during the tournament. When Novak Djokovic steps forward and says something like that, the tennis world listens. This is not just fan outrage. This is respected, decorated, legendary figures in the sport standing up and saying something is wrong here.
So things like that happen. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's so young and she's just coming through. I saw the other day with Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
And here is the thing. This is not a new pattern. This is not an isolated incident that can be explained away or dismissed as a scheduling oversight. If you have been paying attention to Alex Eala's journey through the WTA, you have seen this kind of treatment before. You have seen moments where the systems seem to work against her in ways that simply do not happen to other players. Take what happened during the Australian Open qualifiers. Eala was in the middle of a critical rally. She hit a ball that was clearly inside the lines, visibly in, with the mark on the court to prove it. The call came back out. That alone would have been frustrating. But the officials did not just award the point to her opponent. They ordered a replay of the point entirely. In tennis, that is not standard procedure. Either the ball is in or it is out. You make a call and you stand by it. You do not simply replay points because there is uncertainty or controversy. But apparently, when it comes to Alex Eala, the rulebook gets rewritten. What happened next tells you everything you need to know about who Alex Eala is as a competitor and as a person. She did not accept it quietly. She walked up to that chair umpire, looked them in the eye, calm and composed but absolutely firm, and said the words, "I know what you are doing." She was not going to be pushed around. She was not going to let questionable officiating shake her confidence or derail her focus. She saw what was happening, she named it out loud, and then she went back out there and won the match anyway. She made it all the way to the finals of the Australian Open qualifiers. That is mental toughness. That is the kind of resilience that champions are built from. Then there was the incident during her match against Iga Swiatek, a multiple Grand Slam champion and one of the most dominant players on the women's tour in recent years. For a young player to even be on the same court competing with Swiatek is an accomplishment in itself. And right in the middle of that match, while Eala was building momentum, an official decided to confront her about items in her backpack. In the middle of a crucial match, at a pivotal moment, a scene was made, her rhythm was disrupted, and the timing of it all raised serious questions. When you add all of this up, the court assignments, the officiating controversies, the backpack incident, a picture starts to form. And that picture is not a flattering one for the WTA. Because what it suggests is that one of the most exciting, most marketable, most beloved young players in the sport right now is not being given the platform, the protection, or the respect she has clearly earned. Jessica Pegula saw it. Novak Djokovic saw it. Millions of fans around the world see it. Alex Eala deserves better. The fans who flew across oceans to watch her play deserve better. The sport of tennis deserves better. Alex Eala is not going anywhere. She is going to keep competing, keep improving, and keep building the kind of legacy that transcends rankings and titles. The question is whether the WTA will get on the right side of history and start treating her the way she deserves to be treated, with fairness, with respect, and with the recognition that she is not just a rising star. She is already a phenomenon, and it is time the WTA started acting like they know it. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think the WTA is deliberately overlooking Alex Eala, or is this just poor scheduling and management? Did the WTA drop the ball by not giving her a bigger court despite that massive crowd? And do you think Jessica Pegula and Novak Djokovic speaking out will actually force the WTA to make changes? Drop your thoughts down below, and if you are an Alex Eala fan, make sure you let the WTA know how you feel.